Hey everyone, Christina here. Welcome back to my channel. And I just wanted to recap what we talked about in last week's video about building out our brand personality via using adjectives to describe our brand. And adjectives meaning words that describe the type of culture, the type of people you are wanting to attract, as well as voice, how you want to sound, your feeling that you bring, the impact that you bring, as well as your X factor. So we talked about those different areas and how each play a part in the brand. So now that you guys got an idea of keywords that describe your brand, now it's time for the fun part. And we're gonna get started right away. Let's go. All right, so the best part of doing all of this amazing research is hopping onto Pinterest now, because now we got words that we can use and put it in the search engine of Pinterest and see, what kind of results come up, right? So now we're going onto Pinterest with intention and purpose. We are looking for pictures that describe our brand using the word positive, comforting, energetic. Those types of words are going to help curate better photos for you when you start picking and choosing and selecting the type of pictures that really explain what you're all about. So these are really good tools to use. There's Pinterest, I'm sure there's other inspirational platforms, but Pinterest seems to be the really big hub for everything. The reason why that I talk about jumping onto Pinterest with intention and purpose is because Pinterest also has the algorithm of scrolling, right? It has that pattern where you could be scrolling and scrolling for days and you'll be in the abyss of images and you'll be there for hours and hours. And I mean, that's not a bad thing. Who doesn't like to look at photos for hours? Because Pinterest has a lot of amazing, interesting pieces. But I also want to remind you that don't just stick to Pinterest to find inspiration. I want you to really push to look outwards a bit more. There are other platforms out there that you can use to pull images from and put them in your Pinterest boards. So there's other tools that you can use, such as Unsplash, Pixels, and I believe you can use Creative Commons for some of your imagery. There's much more out there, but I mainly use Unsplash and Pixels and Pinterest for any of my inspirational research, because what is really important here is that you pull inspiration from many different sources to avoid any sort of copyright issues. These are sources of inspiration to help you change, the design up, but still pulling from places that really spark joy in you and your brand idea. Now that you have your brand attributes and / adjectives all in place, use those words very well when looking for photos and pulling the right photos, right? You always have to keep asking yourself, does this feel like my brand? Does it speak to the ideal customer that I'm trying to attract? Because what I'm going to tell you right now is the brand attributes do play a part in the image research, but I also want you to have your customer profile with you as well, so that as you're curating the photos, you're also reviewing the customer profile that you built for trying to help position yourself, but also have the brand attributes in hand too, because both of them are going to work hand in hand with generating really good photos. I'm going to tell you a special technique that I do when I go through Pinterest and I start looking for inspiration. So the very first thing that I like to do is create boards. So I create different types of boards for each category so that I'm able to organize my image research, because Pinterest will just say, oh yeah, you want to like this post and save it, well, here you go, but it's just gonna pop into your main page of where all of your liked pins are. But let's step it up a notch. Let's start creating different categories within Pinterest so that when you are finding photos, you're focusing on, the task at hand. So basically, I'll give you an example. So the first example would be, I'm looking for symbols. So I'm going to create a category board in Pinterest titled symbols. And when I do my image research, I'm going to really search for symbols and just focus on that. And mind you, you might trail off, and that's okay because curiosity. But I would really stick to breaking down the research into small bite-sized pieces, because you're going to be looking at countless different things for the brand. So I encourage you to build, the following board: a category for symbols, a category for fonts, a category for color palettes, a category for imagery, a category for interior design, a category for exteriors, a category for illustrations, a category for the type of person you're trying to attract and get an insight of what they might look like. You also want to tap into some textures and patterns, also fabrics. So these are kind of a good 10 to start with. I know there's a lot more, but this is up to you, what you want to throw into the brand, because there's a whole avenue of things that you can do. Because if you're trying to sell a product within your brand, then I would suggest looking at products and having a product and packaging category. But this is up to you. But this is kind of a starting point where you can start just crafting your boards so that you have image research in each and every one of those categories. And it really just helps to organize everything, because you're going to find that when you go through the image research after you've done all the work, you're going to forget, which part of this image did I like, right? So that's why I say organize the way you are doing your research, and to look to other sources as well. Don't just stick on Pinterest. Look to Unsplash, look to Pixels. If you want to use stock photos, you can, but this is all ideation that is just references. This isn't something that you're going to take and copy. This is just providing you with some kind of a direction of where you want to take the look and feel of your brand and the type of style that you're looking for. Once you have a good amount of photos in all of your categories in your Pinterest boards, you want to take some time to go through each of the categories and keep asking yourself in the back of your head, does this resonate with my ideal client? Does this, speak highly of my brand values? And does this spark both of our interests, my interests and the ideal client? Because that's going to help you slim down each of the sections, because you don't want to have an overwhelming collection of images that you're just going to stress out, right? You just cap it at maybe 10 photos per board within each board. Because if you have too many, it might just be an overwhelming mess after, and then you might be just super scared to approach it. So I would suggest slimming down each category to either 10 photos or 5 if you can really push it down that far. And then what I would like you guys to do is to either print out the picture, paste them on the wall so that you could see them from afar, or put them in a document, an online blank canvas document, so that you can place all the images in one page. And it will give you a good sense of how everything looks as a whole, and to see everything from bird's eye view. Because looking at each of the pieces in each of the categories might not give you the full clarity that you need, but I really do suggest putting everything together in a board. And this is called a mood board. And the mood board basically sums up all the elements that you want to include in the brand and how you want it to feel and look. All of the images that you pick should kind of seamlessly blend together so that you have some kind of unity going on and harmony within it. If you feel that something doesn't fall right into place with all the other images, then maybe just disregard that one. That's how you curate images and do the right image research. And once you have your mood board, that's it. You're ready to go. You're ready to start with designing your logo, designing your website, all the amazing things that you need to get yourself started. And if this is something a little too much for you, you can take that mood board and send it to a designer, and the designer will know exactly what you need in terms of all the other things that you've done too, your mission, your brand story, any type of ideal client profiles that you guys built, your brand personality. So everything that we talked about within the past couple of videos, bring all that to a designer, because that is going to be the best thing that they would need to help you. Because the more information you provide, the much better that they can provide accurate visuals for you. That is it for today's video for working with Pinterest and building your mood boards. And I'll resum everything up again so that you understand what is involved again. So, like I said, you have your brand attributes in place, you have your ideal customer profile up. You're going to take those two pieces of information and you're going to plug them into Pinterest. As you are generating the proper searches now with purpose and intention, you're going to find images that are going to be much stronger, more accurate in terms of what you're looking for. So now what you need to do is build the boards. Like I said, each board is going to have a category, whether it's logo, symbol, fonts, color palette, furniture, exterior designs, paper textures, patterns, anything of that nature. Put it into a board. Gather images, organize them in the right spots, and then slim it down to about 10 images per category. Then you're going to pull from each of those categories, the proper images that speak to you and your ideal client. And then you're going to put them in a blank document to organize and place, to create a mood board. And that's what's going to bring you clarity in terms of your art direction and the vision for how you want your brand to look. So that's pretty much it. And I mean, that's one of the best things when it comes to being a designer. I love curating images and building something that's going to really liven up the brand. And that's what's going to be very helpful to you guys. When you build out these mood boards, it's going to be smooth sailing when you're actually putting together the visuals and the system. So that's all I have for you guys today. So thank you so much for tuning in today's video. That's pretty much it for the phase 1 of the branding series. I hope that this was helpful to you. And if you have any additional questions, you can post them down in the comments. And I hope to see you guys around real soon. Keep smiling and have a great day. Bye.